After Talk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome to Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. It is the beautiful, beautiful, kind of a cloudy day here in Southern California. We're looking at July 19th, and we're hanging out with a gentleman that I've been a fan of for years. Actually, my wife and I sat back last night. We were going some of the old music, and it brought me back to the late 80s, early 90s. So with that said, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, the leader, the man from Club Nouveau, Mr. Jay King. Jay, welcome to Jackie's Groove.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man. So let's.
Groove.
Oh, man. You know what it's all about, man. It's all about educating, man. You know, we're really hot on on bringing up some new emerging audiences and so on, and new emerging artists. But the fact is, man, there's nothing better than the old boys like you and I. That we've been through the trenches, man. You know, we're road dogs. And we're going to share with the audience right now kind of what it's like to walk in the shoes of Jay. And also, Cedric in the background there, can you pull me down? Because I'm hearing some echoing in the back. I don't want to interrupt any. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's I'm hearing some echoing there. But nonetheless, so Jay, let's talk about your legacy with this amazing group that set the precedence of that music in the late 80s. And the group we're talking about is Club Nouveau. Started in 1986. And kind of, I don't know if I want to use the word disbanded in 1990. Take the listening audience on a little tour with you guys. Tell us how that all started.
Well, first, let me start by saying when we continue to tour, me, Valerie, and Samuel continue to work. As a matter of fact, we're going to be in Utah this Saturday with Karen White and Surface.
Wow.
And so so you can't believe everything you read on the internet. You know,
Of course.
Of it is real, some of it is Memorex. But, it started out of the Timex Social Club, debacle. I was a songwriter and a producer.
Okay.
And an independent label with Timex Social Club. I did the song Rumors. And we did it independently, initially out the trunk of the car and then picking up distribution, a little bit afterwards.
Of course.
So, so that's what before we could even get started good, the record started to take off, and then the group left me because I didn't have a contract with them. We were all friends. And so I formed Club Nouveau and wrote Jealousy about them. I can't tell you why these things continue to happen to me, but some people get so jealous of the smallest of all things. I tried to help some friends to help themselves to get their lives intact. They came out spreading rumors. Now I have to come out spreading facts. That was directly about the Timex Social Club because, it was just kind of funky the way it happened. And really, Club Nouveau was born out of the fight with Timex Social Club. I wasn't a singer. Or a performer for that matter. I was a record company guy. I was a producer. I was a songwriter. And only by accident did I start singing. And once I started singing, I fell in love with singing and been singing ever since.
And Jay, share with us what hat do you like to wear the most at this point? Are all three hats producer, songwriter, performer, or do you feel are you more comfortable in the studio behind the board? Share with us what your passion is right now.
Well, I like all of it. That's the beauty of learning it all is that you find this passion in all of it. There's I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going through a car wash as I'm talking to you guys. I apologize.
No worries.
And it won't be long. But I like it all. and I think it was to the benefit of our group, it's to the benefit of me, and it was to the benefit of my career to be involved in every aspect of it, because from the business standpoint, understanding the mechanics is paramount in a career, and you don't know that until you're at the end of it when you're looking for your money. And, and all these people got their hands out, everybody got their hand in your pocket, and then you start looking and saying, wow, what do these people do for me?
Right.
And a lot of times you find out they didn't do much for you at all. You were doing all the doing. They were just, taking money from your doings. So I enjoy it all. When I'm writing, I enjoy writing. When I'm performing, I enjoy performing. When I'm doing business, I enjoy doing business. There's no one part of it more enjoyable than the other. Although I must say that once I'm making the record, I'm in the studio putting all the pieces together.
Right.
It's really, really fun for me. And just watching the song come together and hearing the idea that you had in your head come to fruition is kind of cool.
Yeah, me as a percussionist and stuff, I'm the last cat that goes in the studio to do my overdubs. And by the time I'm done with that song, I don't want to hear that song until it's mixed, until it's brought to the forefront and so on. And the infantile stage about how is this song ever going to sound good? And then boom, And the song I want to talk about for a quick second here, because we've got a lot of people coming up. I've got Warren G coming on the show. And Warren made his fame on a song called Regulator by my dear friend and current boss and old boss, Michael McDonald. It's a song called I Keep Forgetting. The old is new, because the fact is it's the music that we grew up with, Jay, and I know you'll agree with this, is a reason why it's still relevant, because it's real fucking music. That's the bottom line. I don't understand the music business of today, and we're going to talk about that as we go on with this segment. But, and I want to know you as a road dog and as a person that's been in this business as long as I have. I'm pretty knocked out by the cross-section of people that I've interviewed, the Ann Wilsons, again, the Michael McDonalds, the Al DiMeolas, Andy Summers from the Police. And when I asked the question about what is your personal feeling about the music business right now where it sets, and I'm amazed by the answer. So why that's on the top of my mind, let me ask you, Jay King, and not to sound like an old fart like our parents, but what is your professional opinion right now in the music business? Do you understand where it's at right now? Do you welcome it?
I love where the music business is right now. I think this is for the first time in our lives the things that we had to fight for, like ownership, of masters and creativity and freedom. Mm-hmm. These kids get automatically. They almost have to give it away because they get it automatically. Doing it yourself, having distribution, a digital distributor at your beck and call is incredible. Right. It means that you don't have to manufacture product, which means that you don't have costs. And I think people don't realize how important that is.
But, with the lack of record sales, Jay, though, and the fact is, we're touching on something called publishing itself. I mean, that's where your money's going to come in from. Go ahead, share with us. Tell me, educate me.
I make a lot more money off publishing now than I did before, number one.
Really?
Number two, absolutely. We say the lack of record sales. You got to remember one thing. The housing market had a boom, right? Mm-hmm. And in that boom, houses were selling for way more money than you bought them for.
Right.
Remember that?
Of course.
Remember how big records were selling? I mean, music. Houses were selling, and then all of a sudden, it broke. The bubble burst.
That's good.
That's the same thing in our business. The CD was the housing boom. The CD fooled everybody and made people believe that the record business was bigger than what it was, because all of a sudden this new configuration, all the old Elvis Presley, all the old Marvin Gaye, all the old Nat King Cole, all these old catalogs are selling all over again. So where record companies were worth hundreds of millions of dollars, now they become worth billions of dollars because that catalog is selling like it's brand new. The margins are so big because they don't have to make a record anymore. The record's made.
They don't have to market or promote the record anymore. It's already marketed and promoted. They don't have to advertise. It's already advertised. All they have to do is manufacture it and put it in the shelf, and people are buying them because they're changing their vinyl and their cassettes for this CD.
Right.
And so record companies, were the record business in the United States, the record business would do anywhere from $3.5 to $5 billion a year.
Mm-hmm.
And went from 3.5 to 5 billion to 8 billion, from 8 billion to 10 billion, from 10 billion to 14 billion in the United States alone. And so everybody's looking at, all this new music coming out, but what they're not realizing is that it ain't the new music that's selling; it's all these old catalogs.
Yeah,
so once
Paul
you got up on the,
I'm just saying, Paul McCartney got his catalog back. So I understand where you come from. Come with that. But Jay, let me ask you this question because I'm writing this down. I'm scribbling here, but let's take Jay King for a second and let's erase the word publishing and let's erase the word catalog. I guess that's where I'm questioning, and I'm playing the devil's advocate. How does one, without the presence of a catalog or publishing money, how does one make a living other than touring in this industry right now, brother?
Oh, listen, by being inventive and creative. If you have an audience, guess what your audience is going to do? They're going to support you.
They're going to show up. Of course they will.
They're going to buy your product. They're going to love you. Now, so what happened is the formula changed. That's all. The record business is still the record business. Now you got social media. You have self-funding sites where people will fund you, like Indiegogo. You can put your own performances together. What it calls for you now is to have to do and be all the things that we complained about. We said that we wanted to own our masters. Guess what? Now you get to own your masters. We said we wanted to be in control of our distribution. Guess what? Now you're in control of your distribution. We said we wanted to interact with our fan base. Guess what? Now you can interact with your fan base. We said record companies was ripping us off. Guess what? If record companies were ripping you off, now they can't rip you off anymore. Now we said record companies didn't have any value. Now you see the kind of value that a record company has. You see the kind of work they had to do. What is happening is you can't be mediocre and be in our business. But guess what? In the 60s and the 50s and the 40s, and you couldn't be mediocre and be in the business.
Right.
What's happened is, what you're seeing now is you're seeing mediocrity use the same platforms that professionals use. So when you start talking about why it's not happening for certain artists, you're talking about the mediocre artist, the mediocre thinker, the mediocre performer, the mediocre talent, the mediocre writer. So now, now they get to be judged on the same platform as I did, when that didn't happen back in the day, because you couldn't get a deal and perform with me on that platform. In today's world, you get to do it. Everybody gets to be judged the same way.
Yeah,
and sometimes
and I think
the mediocre dude graduates and blows up.
And see, and I'm going to interject here right now because, and no offense to anybody out there, I'm not going to mention names, but not everybody has the mind and the prowessness of Jay King. I guess the ones that aren't in the industry. Now, you just brought up a name earlier when we started talking off the air of a girl that I was a huge fan of, and I know she's still moving around, and the girl's name is Karen White. Now, and for those of you who are not educated, do yourselves a favor and search this beautiful woman, because she was the heavy hitter back in that day. In the 80s and so on, and she had a great song, great hit. The name escapes me from a dear friend of mine, Michael Jeffries, who I used to work with in a group called Tower of Power. Michael was the lead vocalist, and if you remember the song with the title, there you go. Thank you.
But she did Superwoman, and she did Love Song, and she did Secret Rendezvous. I mean, Karen had a number of hit records. She had she had a number one pop record. And Karen White left the music business for 17 years to raise her daughter.
You dig?
And she came back. She's got a TV sitcom that's going to be on Centric starting this Saturday, July 22nd, that she did 4.5 years ago. She just finished a movie that she filmed herself. She just did the soundtrack. Her last album she did on her own. We just came back from South Africa. She's been to South Africa 3 times in the last 12 months.
Man, see,
so when people start telling, and she's 50.
Yeah, and because I'm looking at this information, and pardon the delay here, brother. That's why I'm jumping on you. Because, you know, we talked about the fact about staying relevant. I mean, that whole idea, look at, you know, you're either going to be in the business, or some people say, oh, my God, whatever happened to that person? Like, whatever happened to, you know, again, Karen White, whatever happened to Jody Watley, whatever happened to Anita Baker? But when you get to a certain level, when you've got some money, sometimes people just want to back out. And the only reason why I can talk about that is one of my dear friends, and the group I've worked with from day one is a group called Wilson Phillips. Here's a girl, their first album, their self-entitled album, sold 14 million copies. And the fact of the matter is, in the second album called...
That's a diamond album. For people that don't know, that's a diamond album. That when you sell more than 10 million copies, you know how many times that's going to happen in your career?
Very rare. You know, and that... Right, and that thing within their follow-up album was called Shadows and Lights. It sold 4 million copies, but in the eyes of SBK Records, it was a failure. How the fuck does that make any sense? You know, so the girls decided they were going to step out, raise their children, and now, because of the advent of motion pictures, a movie called Bridesmaids, they centered that whole movie, the end of the movie, with Wilson Phillips. Now Wilson Phillips is back again, selling out 5,000-seat venues. And the fact is, I just got the word, a little spoiler alert, but they're going to go ahead and they're going to re-record Hold On, you know, and there are the 3 hits. Why? Because they own the songs and they don't have to pay the big guys the money. They're going to make that money. And what's going to happen right now, my brother, is we're getting a red light flashing right now. We're going to be coming out of segment number 1. You see how fast it goes. And the audience right now is loving this, man. They have a lot of questions, and we're going to bring it to the forefront. So with that said, you know, I want everybody to sit back. I don't want you guys to go anywhere. Jay King is going to educate us. This is called Music Business 101, and I'm going to talk more about it because I'm a little bit floored, man. I didn't think what you were going to say was going to come out your mouth. About the fact about, you know, being optimistic in this thing called the music business. And we want the younger listeners out there, because we have a lot of emerging artists that want to hear from the old guys like us and what it's going to take to keep it going. So with that said, you guys don't go anywhere. We're stepping out of segment number 1 into segment number 2 with the iconic singer, producer, songwriter, man about business, Club Nouveau's head of Mr. Jay King. So Jay, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. And let's pick it up where we're leaving off, and let's educate the listeners worldwide. Okay, guys, there's the music. We'll be right back. Don't do anything. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned after this short break. We'll be right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
The Moyer Entertainment Group, in conjunction with Daddario, Radio Airplay, and Looploft, is keeping music in our local schools and presenting local talent to the world through the Temecula Valley Music Awards. Submissions for entry into the TVMA 2017 season are now open in all genres, including a youth category for artists under 18 for the October 7th Star-Studded Awards Show, where 100% of the proceeds go towards supporting local music education in the Temecula Valley. Details, tvmawards.org.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on InterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 2 on Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. And I'm proud and privileged, man, as I said before on the first segment, to welcome the innovator, the gentleman that led the industry at that time and is still relevant today. And this gentleman I'm talking to is Jay King from Club Nouveau and also the Timex Social Club. So, Jay, welcome back. We talked about this on the break, and I wanted to pick this up because we talked about publishing. We talked about ownership of music. I have a very dear friend of ours that we lost a few years ago by the name of Larry Henley. Larry was a great singer, songwriter out of Nashville. His number one song that he wrote was for a girl by the name of Bette Midler, and a song called Wind Beneath My Wings. And when that song was brought to Bette, as people don't know out there, let me educate you, Bette never records a song unless she owns it. Smart, yes. But the fact of the matter is Larry was just one step, more intelligent by not selling the song. She loved the song so much. 2 weeks later, she came back into Nashville, and she agreed to record the song, and then, of course, they say, rest is history. So I had asked Larry during a show in Maui, in Hawaii. He had asked me what I made as a sideman on this filming that we did, and I shared it with him. And then later in the evening, when he got a little bit too intoxicated, I took the horse by the reins, and I said, let me ask you a question. With regards to Wind Beneath My Wings, you can answer it if you want to. You can deny it if you want to. But what kind of money did you make off that song since you owned that song, lock, stock, and barrel? And he looked at me, Jay, with his eyes kind of glazed over. He says, Jackie, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you what I'm making on that song annually, but I can tell you right now, I'm making just shy of $1 million a year just on sheet music. So when you and I were talking on the break about being a one-hit wonder, I love the analogy. You brought up the word just now, Chubby Checker, and the song called The Twist. And you asked me, what was the other song? Can you think of any other songs by Chubby Checker? No, I can't. Share the audience what kind of money that Chubby made, that to your knowledge, on that one hit.
Well, I over $1 million a year for probably the majority of his life. And that's, that's just him going out on the road.
Right.
Chubby toured all the time. You start talking about performances, when you start talking about movie uses, when you start talking about publishing, when you start talking about airplay, when you start talking about sheet music, when you start talking about streaming. See, all these things, when you start talking about digital play, all these things you get money from. For digital airplay, if you are a performer, or if you performed on a record, you're the lead performer on the record, or the group on the record, or you are the master owner, Sound Exchange pays you. If you are the songwriter or the publisher, BMI, ASCAP, and CSAC pay you. They're performing rights organizations. If you are a performer or a master owner or publisher, and your music is streamed, it pays you. Now, people talk about streaming, and they say streaming is bad. Streaming is the best thing that happened for us because music streams everywhere. Now, you start talking about how much you get paid, the payment is minimal today. But the important thing that people don't look at is streaming is an identified revenue stream. And one of the hard parts we have with our music is identifying the performances as a paid revenue stream.
Right.
So people don't want to pay for a lot of things. That's why, Video Soul, we didn't get played for videos on BET and MTV and stuff like that, because they called it marketing and promotions.
Right.
But now they have to pay you for it. So you always, when somebody will identify a revenue stream, regardless of how little it is, because when I first started getting Sound Exchange checks, they were small. Now my sound exchange checks are probably somebody's salary for the year. Just my sound exchange.
Crazy.
It's not counting anything else. It's not counting BMI. It's not counting royalty statements. It's not counting anything else. Just my one, that royalty stream right there is somebody's paycheck for the year. So we have to be cognizant of all the different streams that exist for us, and especially these new kids. All it takes is for one of their records to break through. You know, the kid Macklemore, the little rapper, he's a prime example. He don't ever have to make another album if he don't want to for the rest of his life. He made enough money from the one album because he owned it. He sold, 3 million copies?
Yeah.
You multiply that by $5 or $6.
Please. You know, and the numbers are, you know, beyond my comprehension. As I said before on the break, you know, I'm a hired gun. I'm a grunt. You know, I've been very, very, very fortunate to play with the who's who of the industry itself. I've got walls in my studio of platinum albums that, you know, that I was part of, and those are the fruits of my labor, and it makes me proud. But the reason why I brought this up before about album sales and the millennials who never have paid for anything, and I brought that up and I'm bringing it up now because I'm amazed. Like, just going back to Michael McDonald. Michael's got a new album coming out in September. He sent me photographs of press recordings, you know, with the handwritten, you know, and such. He goes, now I just need to find somebody with a quality turntable so I can hear the music. And I'm bringing that up just to the fact that a lot of the old guys, you and me, are coming back out in the industry, and they're bringing out vinyl. And they're bringing out albums, and they're bringing out liner notes. In fact, even if you go to Amazon or go to iTunes, the albums now and the record labels are now giving you digital downloads of a thing called the liner notes. And I say that over and over again, kids. Liner notes are amazing. It tells you everything that you want to know about the album, but we're afraid to ask. Do you miss liner notes, brother? I mean, you know, being in that aura itself, you know, just that the sound of, you know, sliding over that plastic and picking it out and going, oh, I didn't know Jay was on this. I didn't know Jackie was on this. You know, what made you happy about a liner note, man? It gave credence and it gave respect to the people that made the album, correct?
Well, no, I liked it because I got a chance to see who worked on the records. I love history. I don't just listen to music or just my music. I listen to all types of music, and I love the history of music. You know, when I love learning that on "Rescue Me," the song "Rescue Me" by Fontella Bass, that Maurice White played the drums, Louis Satterfield played the bass. Minnie Riperton did background vocals. You know, it gives me a view of the Chicago scene at that time, what was happening in Chicago around VJ Records and Brunswick Records and Chess Records, you know, and all the different things that were happening, because that was happening around the same time as Motown. We talk about Motown. We don't talk about Brunswick. We don't talk about Chess. We don't talk about VJ, but they were very prominent labels at the time. So I love the history that is encapsulated in the liner notes. And that's what I enjoy most about them. And then you could kind of see who was the sought-after background vocalists of the time, and especially when you can look and see where the records were recorded and who produced the records and who arranged and what a producer was versus an arranger versus a vocal arranger, you know, and a songwriter. Back then, what's interesting about music too is songwriters only wrote songs, arrangers only arranged songs, producers only produced songs. You know, everybody had a place. Now, by the time we got to us, it was everything was incorporated. You did it all.
You know, let me ask you a question too, brother. Again, walking in the same age shoes here. My dear friends, a group called Styx. I'm sure you remember Styx. They just came out with a new album called those are all my dear friends, and Tommy and everybody. They just released the first studio album called The Mission, the first album in 14 years, and we were very proud to be part of the promotion here on Jackie's Groove. And the thing is, they recorded at Blackbird Studios in Nashville, and they recorded it, get this, brother, all analog. All analog. Michael McDonald's new album, recorded it, all analog. I mean, you remember the old Ampex 2-inch reel. There's no mistaking that sound. I've always said that. Now, with that said, you being in the situation and you being optimistic about the industry, how it's going, if you had one choice or the other, Jay, to record digital, Pro Tools or Logic, or be in a studio to record on a 2-inch reel in front of an SSL Neve board, what is your choice?
I'm digital.
Really?
Absolutely.
See, I'm blown out of the water, brother.
Yeah. 10 years ago, I would have told you analog, and nothing beats analog recording. But because of what they've done with digital recordings, because of how the plugins warm them up, because it's not and because it's not as mechanical as it used to be, and because once I do a session, I can literally plug in my session all over again. I'll have to bring my hard drive, plug it in, my session just comes right up. I don't have to worry about striping tape. I don't have to worry about getting the tones right. I don't have to, go to the part, all the things that it takes. I don't have to go back and dial it all in again. All those things that you have to do on analog, you don't have to do anymore. So the cost to record is cheaper.
Of course.
The time to record is quicker and is more proficient and efficient. And the interesting thing about human beings is once we get comfortable in something, we don't want anything to change because we're comfortable with it. But we don't want anything to stay the same. We're such a weird.
But we are a weird breed, and you brought up a point here. My good friend, I'm sure your mutual friend, Mr. Phil Perry. We just had him on the show last month, and I had mentioned to Phil about digital versus audio. He loves digital. In fact, he's building a studio in his home in Rancho Cucamonga. But he said to me, he goes, "You understand something, Jackie? Remember, even though you're going through Pro Tools or Logic, you're still plugging in an XLR mic." And he goes, in his microphone collection, it runs up into, a couple $100,000. He says, so the fact of the matter is, he goes, even though you're recording into a digital situation, you still can close your eyes and act like you're in a studio with an SSL Neve board in front of you by singing into those microphones. And the fact of the matter is, he said the same thing too. He goes, let me ask you a question. When the studios hire you, are you finding that you're making more money now? And I said, absolutely, because they don't have to pay the sounds, of Warner Brothers, Capitol, Ocean Way, and so on. But do you miss walking into the studio, Jay? Do you miss that smell of the wood on the walls?
I still walk into the studio. I still walk into a studio with wood on the walls. I walk into a studio with a digital recorder. I'm still playing with live musicians. I still have a live percussionist. I take it for what it is. There is a plus to recording on Pro Tools and on Reasons, or I use Logic, or in Logic, there's a plus to it. And then I have to keep that plasma flowing through it, because that's really when you start talking about the old recordings, you say, what's missing from today's recording? There's no blood. There's no plasma. There's nobody playing. Everything is programmed. I don't want everything programmed. I need the rhythm. I need the flow of the blood of the person that's playing it.
I dig it. And let me going back, I'm going to go back and forth here, but I want to ask you this question also. Back in 1986, when you got the conglomeration of your members, Valerie and Samuel and other cats that went through, there's, Denzel, Thomas, and Kevin and David, I can go down the list here with, who was in the band. But I'm curious, and the listeners are curious also, for a Sacramento-based band. For those who don't know out there, the name, Club Nouveau is French for new club. What inspired you to come up with this very, very cool name that's still relevant today, Club Nouveau? Tell the listeners whose idea was that?
Well, let me tell you what happened. We were, Timex Social Club was the group that we came out of. So I wanted to say, I wanted to call ourselves the New Club, right? But the New Club was too corny. So we were going to call ourselves Jet Set. We were on a flight one day. We were getting ready to do a date. We were still battling with Timex Social Club as to what we were going to do. So there were two Timex Social Clubs out, us and them. And then one day, Valerie was looking in the dictionary and she found Nouveau Riche. So I said, so we said Club Nouveau Riche. So I called my lawyer and I said, we want to be Club Nouveau Riche. And he said, Nouveau Riche has negative connotations. So we dropped the Riche because it's newfound wealth.
Nouveau riche. It's just in French. It's just negative. It's just a negative connotation.
Okay.
So we just took off the riche and put Club Nouveau. Now a new club. Now a different club. Now a better club. So so then that's how that thing came about.
Yeah, it's amazing because I remember back a good friend of ours growing up was like a second father to me. Was one of the heads of GM, and when they introduced this the car called Nova, it was a huge success in the U.S. But when it went to Mexico and Brazil, it failed because the word Nova means nothing. And so I guess there's something in every name one way or the other, so it makes sense. But to this day, we talked earlier. When I had my tenure with CNC Music Factory, everybody, and I can go on with Frederick and Martha and everybody else, and then on to Gerardo, Rico Suave, and so on. Another man that made a grip of money too because of Warner Brothers itself, and also of course with Stevie B, who's still out there, still considered one of the top freestylers out there. And with that said, there's so many great movies that are coming out right now. The specific series I'm talking about is on HBO. It's called The Defiant Ones that stars Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. Have you made yourself aware of this series out yet?
I heard it, but somebody just talked to me about the series. I haven't seen it yet. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I am going to check it out.
Please watch it because everything you're talking about right now is exactly what happened, and it's just about the industry itself, and the Satans that run through the industry. I mean, you've got to be well aware of what's happening, and I want your professional opinion on something too, my brother. I use the word road dog, and for those who don't understand the road dog, it's this gentlemen and girls out there that have been cut up and bruised by this industry, and that's a good situation because we do heal from our wounds. And so when we come back on to segment 3, I want to talk about touring today, Jay, versus touring when you were back in '86 and on up. I want to share with the listeners, the millennials, if you will, what it took to do that and so on, and what it takes to stay in shape at our age and what not to take advantage of. So with that said, we're going to step out of segment number 2. You see how fast things are going here, brother, and we haven't even touched on a segment of what we need to talk more about, Jay. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. Relax. We'll be back on segment number 3 after the short break with my in-studio guest, the innovator, Mr. Jay King from Club Nouveau. So, Jay, any other questions you want to talk about, bring them up, and let's wrap it up. Again, this is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to Jackie's Groove, segment number 3. This is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. You guys, do yourselves a favor and do us a favor if you would be so kind. Go on to Google Play and go on to iTunes and download our easy-to-use and easy-to-navigate application. It's called Intertalk. Second word is radio. And you can take Jackie's Groove and the plethora of other shows on the go with you when you can't listen to us live. So patronize us if you'd be so kind. And also, my dear friend, Jay King. You know, Jay and I don't know each other. We're new to each other, but of course we know each other's music, and we have so many of our friends in common. And you know, and I wanted to bring up something, Jay, itself, because I got to be honest with you. You floored me, my brother. I am just literally and utterly blown out of the water, because if I had to spend my last dollar on knowing the answers that answers to my questions, I'm completely wrong. I've blanked on everything, thinking the fact that you would not be against the industry, but not really understand the industry. So I'm going to keep this going, this platform, and I'm going to ask you another question. This is something I've shared again with the likes of the who's who of the industry. But I said last April, my wife and I were watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2017. And on stage was Eddie Vedder, and on stage was Journey, and the list goes down the line, all friends of ours from the studio. And I felt compelled to write on Facebook something, and I said, as my wife and I sit here watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on HBO 2017, the gentlemen and women on stage are as old as your parents, if not older. The reason why they're still relevant in this industry, why they're still selling stadium full of people, is because they're real fucking musicians playing real fucking music, and they're real fucking good. And so when I use that term freely, I'm going to ask you this question, and I hope I'm not going to be blown out of the water again. I've said over and over again that if you sit in front of your monitor and there's a thing called YouTube, and you are hoping to win the lottery or become one of the very few people out there that have been successful on YouTube, without going out in the industry, getting your asses kicked, getting doors closed in your face, getting cut and bruised, earning your stripes, do you agree or disagree with me the fact that you really have to get out there and get your balls busted if you want to stay relevant? Share with me and share your opinion to the audience.
Listen, if you're on YouTube, you're getting your balls busted. You
Okay.
see some of those comments on YouTube. There's ball busting going on YouTube. I don't try to quantify the music business today with the music business from yesterday. The music business has changed. And I think what happens to people, and the reason why folks in our era don't make the transition, is because of that comparison that they continue to make. You know, it's like our grandparents or our parents made the comparison to us, and we thought that, you know, it don't make it. You can't compare. It's apples and oranges. Well, it's the same for us. There's apples and oranges. I love the music business. I think you have to be a maverick to be in the music business. I think you have to be a forward thinker to be in the music business, and you have to enjoy music to be in the music business. I think that you have to be innovative and creative. You got to use your mind if you're going to be in the music business. I got a new record out. You're playing in the excerpt right now. This is my solo album.
Share with us.
And I think I've made some of the best music of my career. You know, you can go to iTunes right now and go look for J. King, Helen's Son. You can go to YouTube right now and put in J. King, Helen's Son, and the whole album come up. You can hear it for free. Because I'm not one of those people that think.
Say the second word. You said J.
Helen.
Like
H-E-L-E-N-S.
Perfect.
That's my mom. Son. S-O-N. I'm Helen's son.
Is she still with us, Jay?
No, she died 10 years ago on my birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I lost my mama back in 92, man. And
you know what?
Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I want to ask you a question. Would Mama get a chance to, I mean, you'll always be Jay King. You'll always be her baby. But did Mama get a good chance to really see her son's success? Did you involve Mom a lot with this itself?
Listen, my mom, no. My mom was not. My mother was a mother who was involved with her life. But my mom she's the single most influential person in my life. My mother never let me even approach making the music business mean so much to me that it defined me. My mother never let that define me. My mother always made me understand that there was more to me than the music business, and this is just one of the things I did. And if it was what I was going to use as my calling card, then I wasn't shit on a stick. So I never got a chance, and I thank my mom for that, to believe that I was some superstar. This is just my job. This is what I do. This is what I love. My mother made me know that if I was going to do it, I had to do it because I love it, not because I was trying to make money. So a lot of kids come out here trying to make money making music. When if they make music, music will make money.
Right.
But if they try to make money making music, they probably won't make music at all. And most of those kids won't make it. When you start looking at the Kanyes and the Jay-Zs, these are people that are passionate about music. Do they make money? Absolutely. But do they walk in, and when they start putting money in front of music, you start seeing their art fail. And you see it with Kanye, where, music has to be number one on the music list. It has to be your love. Music takes precedent over a woman for me. Because music is my woman. And any woman with me got to understand that she's second to music. And if she start competing with music, she's probably going to lose, because music is a very selfish bitch.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
That's how committed, if you're a musician, that's how committed you have to be to music and the process of music. And when you're not, back up, sit down, and let somebody else step in, because that's what they're going to be, and you can't compete with that.
Jay, let me ask you a question, brother. Going over your itinerary of your music, songs like Jealousy, one of my favorite tunes. It's an answer to Rumors itself. But with Rumors being considered a Timex Social Club hit, would you argue the fact that could we actually put the word Rumors being a hit of Club Nouveau?
Absolutely. We perform it.
Okay. And,
probably better than them.
Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. And also, too, let's step back what we talked about originally. Bill Withers, Lean on Me. Where did that come from? Where in your catalog, where did growing up did you say, I'm going to write a song, I'm going to pay homage to Mr. Withers on a song called Lean on Me? Because I have good friends of mine in Orange County years ago, back in the 80s and the 90s, called Matinee Idol, and their biggest request from the audience was Lean on Me, but not Bill Withers' version, Club Nouveau's version, which was very, very cool. What prompted you, and what inspired you to choose that song of all songs that were a legacy in the industry?
Well, I didn't pick it. Denzel Foster did. Me and Denny and Tommy were writing together, and it was his song. It was his idea to do it, but doing it the way we did it is what we thought about, how it was going to be done. Because the interesting thing about remake records is you have to leave the melody intact, because that's what people know. So, Lean on Me is some time in our life. We all have pain. We all have sorrow. So we didn't want to mess with that melody.
Right.
So, but we wanted to put tempo on it. So we put some time in our life. We all have pain. We all have sorrow. So I just put tempo on the record. And then, and because Bill Withers is one of the few writers that writes a song that can be interpreted 100 different ways. A lot of writers write songs and you can only interpret them the way they write them. But Bill Withers leaves a lot of room. And so once we started dealing with it and started getting into it, it was just, you could do so much with it. And we didn't know it was going to be the big hit that it was. None of us said, "Oh my God, this is going to be a smash."
Honestly, seriously, you guys didn't sit in the studio and go,
"No,
we're going to fucking kill it with this tune."
No. Warner Brothers didn't even. You know what? Jealousy released first. Situation Number 9 released second. Leno and Warner Brothers really was going to send us back in the studio to do a second album after Situation Number 9. They felt like there was nothing else on the record that fit into what we were doing. Pop radio started playing Lean on Me and forced black radio to have to pay it. We entered the pop charts at number 36. We entered the R&B charts at 72.
How many albums or how many songs did you sell off that album? How many songs? Let me just read that. How many sales? Yeah, how many albums on Lean on Me did you make off that?
We sold 2.5 million albums. Lean on Me did 1.3 million singles, and that's when a gold record was 1 million. Because Why You Treat Me So Bad, Situation Number 9, and Jealousy all did over 500,000 units. But we didn't get gold records for them because those weren't considered gold records. It didn't drop down to gold being 500,000 until after 88 or 89 or 90, something like that.
Well, the RIAA, can they recognize that now? Can they grandfather that and award you with that now? That's 500,000 is considered gold. They won't do it.
No, I never asked. I don't care. I got to be honest with you. Gold and platinum albums. I don't even have gold and platinum albums on my wall. They're in storage. They're not that big a deal to me. I like music.
Let me ask you another big deal here. I had the privilege. Our station had the absolute privilege of being one of Al Jarreau's last interviews. God rest his soul. We lost him in February of this year. The innovator, man, and he was not only was my interview, but Jay, he was in my home. We sat down for 3.5, almost 4 hours and just chopping up the shit together. I talked to him about the situation of being an 8-time Grammy Award winner. He said he was proud of it, but it's not what his music was centered around. His music was making music. In fact, they're kind of in an inconspicuous area in the house. They're not in the front room, if you will. It's really nobody else's business. I mean, yes, he's very proud of getting that, but it didn't spur him to continue to write great songs. But with that said, let's step back for a second. Let me blow smoke up your ass for a second, brother. You earned a Grammy Award for Lean on Me. Share it with me, man. Share with us when you got that notification and when you won. Make us all warm and fuzzy inside of what you felt.
I didn't feel. You know what? I don't know. I didn't feel anything. It was goofy to me. It's still goofy. It's goofy that we
really
yeah. Because I don't know. I just never. I just love music. So the awards, and then you got to compete with a guy, and then one guy's got to be better than somebody else. And music ain't like that. How can you tell? And then it becomes subjective. Then it becomes political because I'm a member of NARIS, so I vote on the Grammys, right? I very seldom vote because I'm just a member of NARIS. I don't vote because I don't like it. Unless it's something that I'm really like, if I feel really convicted about a record, I think it's important that. Otherwise, I won't fool with it.
Right.
And now it's a game. It's a political game because all the labels, they know who they want. And they call their friends at different labels, and they all vote, and they make sure that their votes are in. So real people don't get a chance to win. And then what's winning?
Right.
I like the idea of us, honoring music and saying, this is, but I think we should do it for independent artists. We should do it for that guy who sold, 2,000 copies, but made a great record. Let's really honor the music. Let's really look at when somebody makes I know a girl that I DJ in Sacramento. I'm on 97.5 FM, KDEE. You can check me out Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 3 to 7 Pacific Standard Time. It's kdeefm.org. And we're a classic old school station, but we play new records too. And this girl named Lynn Fidmont, Lynnne.
That's my girl.
Fiddmont. I never heard of her before. I'm on the board one day. I'm just going through different things, and I see Lynn Fitmont, and I press this record, and it's called Holiday, and I like it. It's kind of cool. And so I just put it in my show. I play it. It's cool. I go home, because the record is still playing in my head. I go home, and I go to iTunes, and she's got 2 albums, one called Flow and one called Lady. And I listen to both of them, and I buy both of them. Now I'm a Lynn Fitmont fan.
Her song is called Groovy People, baby. That song blows me out the water, man.
Yeah, Groovy People was the latest song she did as a single. But you got to listen to her 2 albums, which is brilliant. Absolutely. So to me, that's what, if the Grammys were going to do something innovative and creative, to me it would be the discovery.
Sure.
Helping us to discover new artists, helping us. And I think that's going to be the next movement, because there's so much great music out here. There's a lot of great music out here. Even from new artists.
And with that said also, too, Florentino, the CEO, your friend of our network,
yes.
His whole idea, we've been really chopping it up, and he wants to involve Mr. J. King, and along with Mr. Michael McDonald and so on and so forth, to help us, since we're so strong on emerging artists, to take your education, and Florentino will talk to you offline about this, and how we can employ your situation and your knowledge, that we can keep everything moving in a forward direction versus backwards, and and educating the younger set out there about what it takes to do it, and also educating the industry on the fact is that we're going to continue on with the industry. We can't just rely on older people like us, because eventually our calling home, is not that far away, God forbid. But the fact is, someone's got to pick up the reins, and for knowledge like that, we'll definitely want to sit there and pry on your knowledge. But when I'm going to pry on your knowledge right now, brother boy, we're looking right now on the last segment of the first hour of a 2-hour interview with Mr. J. King. I'm sitting here, Jay, you got to see my desk right now in the studio. I've got notes written everywhere, and everything I was going to ask you that I knew was a positive, I had a star, but I had to put an X through it, because you blew me out of the water, man, with the responses. So, and I thank you for that. You owe me a new big pen to write with. So, with that said, guys, when we come back on the second hour of Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network, you're into all things music. This is Jackie Bertoni. You're listening to Mr. J. King. Blowing me out of the water, brother. We got so much more to talk about on the second hour, and I want to thank you again with open arms, man, for gracing our show. So, with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. Use the boys' room, the girls' room. Get yourself a new beverage. You're not going to want to miss the last hour here. So with that said, everybody, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove. Don't go anywhere. Right back with Mr. J. King on Jackie's Groove. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Al Di Meola, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Something that's so divine. Let me relax your mind. Baby, as we unwind, we'll lay up and wake to find.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Jackie's Groove. Segment number 4, second hour of a 2-hour interview with my in-studio guest, Mr. Jay King. Hey Jay, I'm going to get right back to it, man. I got to ask you a question because we talked on the break and about being diversifying and keeping ourselves moving itself. I'm very, very thankful. In the years, the 30-plus years I've had in the industry, is one of the top 5 percussionists in the industry, and I'm very, very thankful. Secondly, I have another hat, obviously, with a year and a half me being on the radio. Love what I do, and we're very, very blessed at the studio and the network for the success that we've got. And I also said to you on the break also that I've been very successful with my diamond watch company called Bling Group, and to keep ourselves moving in, forward directions. And with that said, you can never have enough under your belt. But the fact of the matter is, being on top of it and creating an income for the family and so on and just staying fresh is one thing. But the fact is, to know where we're going is know where we came from. And there's something I didn't touch with you, and I want to find out with you and the listening audience. When, let's say, for instance, I showed up at the King household, growing up itself, and mama and dad listening to the music. I want to know what the listeners, I'm curious to find out, for inspiration, what was coming out of your speakers at your home? If I was to walk in your youth, what would the family be listening to? Share with us.
Okay, so let me tell you something. Let me tell you a funny story.
Sure.
So I'm playing trumpet, and I'm playing all the funky stuff, walking in rhythm, all the confunction horn stuff, all the Bootsy Collins, all the funky stuff I can play it. And one day my mom said, "You think you're a musician?" I said, "I know I am." And she said, "What do you know about bread?" I said, "You eat it." And she said, I mean the group Bread."
Ah.
And what are you talking about? She said, "What do you know about the group called Bread? What do you know about them? What do you know about David Gates?" I said, "I don't know who you're talking about, Mom. That's old folky music. That's old people music." She said, "What do you know about Sills and Cross? What do you know about Billie Holiday?" And she said, "Until you listen to music, all music, you're not a musician." And I thought my mom was crazy. I'm thinking my mom is crazier than everything outdoors. So I started listening to all music.
Right.
Young. That's so I can know, "Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling, Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me?"
Yeah. Dig it.
"Baby, I'ma need you. Baby, I'ma want you." America. I started listening to all these different groups. Listening to the purity and the beauty of Karen Carpenter's register, her vocal registers, how beautiful it was and how pure it was, and really appreciating music. So everything played in my household. Everything all the time. But, it's when I never seen a black man so strong on an album cover until I saw Isaac Hayes on Hot Buttered Soul, this bald-haired black man with these glasses on and these chains, all these gold chains on him.
Right.
Blew my mind. Walk on, doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. So we listen to music. And I got it. That's how I was introduced to, and Carlos and Antonio Carlos Jobim and Bossa Nova, ba 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 da di da, all of the different music. So a bunch of music, and that's why, I listen to a bunch of music now, because there was all kinds of beauty when it comes to music playing in my household.
And I bring that up because my the engineer that's on right now, his name is Cedric. And Cedric is the new young blood here in the studio. In fact, he's going to end up taking over the whole studio by the knowledge his kids got. And I was talking to him this morning about Jay King. And he says, yeah, Jack, I was queuing up all the music. And he goes, and I remember all that music. And, even though he's, half our age, if not more. But the fact of the matter is he understands. His girlfriend, my producer, Megan, understands the music of love. And I've always told him, too, you've got to educate yourself on what the music was back then, and listen to how much it bled over into the music of today. And and they call up and they say, man, you couldn't be more right. We're really, really enjoying it because you've got to know where it came from to know where it's going. And with that said, I have to ask you a question. If I was to hijack your music library right now, take your iPhone or your iPad or jump in your car, what is Jay listening to right now?
Cannonball Adderley.
Really?
1968. Yeah, I'm listening to Cannonball Adderley and what was this album? I slept to it last night because it's such a beautiful album.
You got me on that.
So Captain and Tennille I listened to the other night.
Crazy.
I listened to the greatest hits of the Captain and Tennille. The Bossa Nova album that he did in 1962. That's what I listened to. I listened to Jay-Z's 444 album the other day. So I got him.
You know what I woke up today singing?
What?
I woke up singing today of the small song that you guys wrote called "Why You Treat Me So Bad." And I woke up listening to the tune because, I love Lean On Me and I love Rumors and everything else, but my favorite is Why You Treat Me So Bad. Share with me and the listening audience itself, what was your motivation for that? Was that directed at anybody at all that you want to share with or you can share with?
Okay, so yeah, of course I can. So I was married when we first started. And I was a young man. I got married young, 21, 22. And I was in love with my wife. I mean, I was absolutely in love with her. The Club Nouveau album, Life, Love, and Pain, and the Michael Cooper album, Love is Such a Funny Game. It's really mostly about her, to prove my love for Michael Cooper. What can I do? What must I do to prove my love to you? All that stuff was about her. So Why You Treat Me So Bad is really, oh, girl, I loved you, but you turned and you walked away. I will love you for tomorrow. I sold everything we owned while she was out of town to put Rumors out.
Does she know that song was about her?
Yes, that. Yeah, I'm sure she did. We remained great friends.
Okay.
We had a son, my oldest boy Jay. She never stopped him from being in my life, and she never stopped me from being in his.
Beautiful.
So, she's a great mother.
Let me ask you this question. You being the fame that you've had and the fame that you continue to have, with your baby, and it'll always be your baby, did he understand what Dad was doing? I mean, you didn't have a 9-to-5. So do you understand what Daddy did as opposed to others?
No.
Okay.
Nah, he was a little bitty baby. He was a year old, I remember one time, Muhammad Ali came to the house, and my son loved Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali, and so I got all these important dignitaries at my house, and they're there to see Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali spent more time with my son, teaching my son magic tricks. My son was about 4.5 years old.
Okay.
And that's who Muhammad Ali played with. That's who he was with. He didn't give a damn about anybody else. And I had a driver named Muhammad. And my son before, I had a driver named PJ, and my son didn't like him. And I told him, you're not old enough to say you don't like a driver. You like whoever drives the car.
Right.
And so, but my son loved Muhammad Ali. And one day he was in the limo, he was in the car with me, and he said, Dad, I don't like this Muhammad. And I fired him.
Really?
So my son, because for a long time, my son would be like, why are people wanting to take pictures? You're just my dad. And I'm like, so Donnie Simpson came to the house and took him horseback riding. These were things that just happened. So he wasn't, it wasn't until he got older, I think, once he was like 20, that he was like, Dad, I had a pretty cool life. That's when he went to the Air Force, got out, and he was like, man, I had a pretty cool life,
That's so cool. No, that's so cool that you share that because, going up, talking about the aforementioned people like Carney and Wendy Wilson and China Phillips, from Wilson Phillips, they're talking about Wendy and Carney's dad, Brian Wilson, the genius from the Beach Boys, and China Phillips' dad, John Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas. And I also had the privilege about a month and a half ago to interview Kathy Rich, whose father was Buddy Rich. And we talked about that and just the dichotomy of the fact that when the door would knock, Kathy would go open the door, and there was a guy there standing by the name of Frank Sinatra. But to her, it was Uncle Frank. And then with Carney talking about she'd come down the stairs, and Dad be sitting behind the piano playing with Paul McCartney. And the next day, it would be with Elton John. But they were just Uncle Paul and Uncle Elton. And so the fact is, even though at that age they knew it, then they grow up later on and they smile. Even if they haven't chose to go into the industry, they can still smile by saying, hey, it's pretty cool. Because I'll be honest with you, Jay, I'm honored right now, man. I'm a fan of yours. I've been a fan of yours. And all of a sudden I'm talking to the innovator of the music all these years forward. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a fanboy, even when I walk on stage this very day, of people that are famous. The look that you've always grown up with or heard on the radio, and they're standing right in front of you. That's why I love when Howard Stern has a guest in. And Howard Stern says, look at you. Stand there for a second. Let me look at you. And it's coming from his heart, man, because the fact is that we all have, respect for everything that you've earned growing up and so on. And there's nothing wrong with being a fanboy, a fangirl of people that are still considered your friends. And we talked earlier on the break itself about how being relevant and so on. But I want to ask you this question. Back in 86, 87, 88, when you guys are filling up huge venues and so on, as opposed to today, maybe a larger venue, maybe a smaller venue. But I have to ask this question as we get older. Does Jay King prefer on stage in-ears, or do you still love the old ambient wedge for your sound?
It's according to, what kind of date it is. If I'm the support act, then I'm gonna live with the wedges. If I'm the headliner and the in-ears are better, I'll deal with the in-ears. But it don't bother me either way. As long as I just want it to sound good on stage. I just want it to sound good to me on stage. So that's what I'm most concerned about.
When you're playing with a live band on stage, what does Jay want to hear in his ears? What do you want to hear as a mix?
I want to hear the bass. I want to hear the drums. I want to hear the keys. I want to hear my counterpart's vocals, so I can make sure my blend is right.
Okay. And then going back to in talking on the break itself, I didn't realize the fact we talked about wearing multiple hats. You mentioned the fact that you're also managing one of the greatest groups I just saw a few months ago in Las Vegas, a group called Cameo, and I'm sure you know the song called Word Up and such, And here we are looking at Mr. Blackman, Larry Blackman, on stage. Got a little bit older, man, but he's still funking it up. But the gentleman that's on the traps, on the drums, is the infamous Mr. Jonathan Sugarfoot Moffett from the fame of Michael Jackson and the Jacksons. When is the last time you saw the boys playing? Even though you're managing, when's the last time you actually saw Cameo live?
We were in Concord for the Stone Soul picnic.
Very cool.
May 27th.
And you brought up a little while ago, you mentioned a group called Confunction, in which my dear friend, excuse my British sneeze here, Dale Edward, who plays percussion with them also, and I know you know Dale, and so on, and they're still killing it. And then Eric EQ.
Oh, yeah, they put on a great show.
Yeah, man, and EQ is killing it. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, and you talked about the old becomes new. Guess who I got coming on next month? Mr. David Pack from Ambrosia. And you talk about, baby come, you're the greatest part of me, and baby come back. I mean, all this stuff, there's a reason why it's out there. And let me step back for a second, man. I had the pleasure, you're talking about taking music and sampling it and so on. Well, I worked, and I still work with a very, very big reggae group here out of San Diego called Big Mountain. And the first song I sang to
Big Mountain.
Yeah, man, and they're still killing it. They're in the studio right now. I'm doing tracks with them as we speak. But the first hit that we ever performed with him and recorded with Joaquin McQuinney, the leader of the group, was a song made famous by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Peter Frampton, and a song called Baby, I Love Your Way, in which Big Mountain sold as many copies originally that Peter Frampton did. And then we followed it up, because Big Mountain's whole thing is they do 2 cover tunes per album. And on the follow-up album, we recorded a great song called Dreamweaver by Mr. Gary Wright. And the fact is, Gary had called, you dig? And I'll send you the tracks on that, man, because it's, in fact, I'll send you a CD. It's called Free Up is the name of the album. Huge overseas, didn't do well in America, but that's okay. But the fact of the matter is, when Gary Wright talked to Kino and said, I only have one favor for you to ask, and Kino says, sure, ask. He goes, please make it a hit like you did Baby, I Love Your Way. Because the amount of money that Peter made off of that hit was incredible itself. So with that said, are there other songs other than your own in your repertoire that you, if you want to share with us, that you think about covering? Anything that's that you want to share that's in the back of your mind that you want to bring out again on to the forefront?
You know what? I love Sly Stone, and I believe that the vocals of Sly Stone match Club Nouveau, just because of the you got multiple male vocals, and you got Sister Rose doing the female vocals, and it's kind of sassy, and Val's kind of sassy.
Right.
And Larry Graham got that bass thing, and I can do that. Sometimes I'm right, and I can be wrong. Samuel can sing the other parts. So I'm thinking about doing a cover of a Sly Stone song.
Very, very cool. I mean, what's even that blows me out of the water, excuse me here as I'm trying not to sneeze into the microphone, is that we're coming out of segment number 4. Brother, you see what I mean by this? And there's so many more questions that I got to bring up. And then at the break, I want to talk about stuff that you want to talk about. And then the last segment, we're going to talk all about Jay King and how to stock this, brother, and how to put some ducats in your pocket also. So we'll do what we got to do to put our best foot forward with you. I've got so many more questions I want to ask. I just want to talk about relevance itself, about now that we're older, we're over the age of 50, what things that we're doing now, things that you're doing now to keep your voice in shape. Is that a big factor for you? And also things that we take for granted back when we were young versus what we have to do now when we're on the road. So with that said, you guys don't go anywhere. Coming up on segment number 5 on the second hour of this amazing interview with my in-studio guest, the innovative Mr. Jay King. Jay, don't go anywhere. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short message. You don't want to miss a thing. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
The Moyer Entertainment Group, in conjunction with the Dario, Radio Airplay, and Loop Loft, is keeping music in our local schools and presenting local talent to the world through the Temecula Valley Music Awards. Submissions for entry into the TVMA 2017 season are now open in all genres, including a youth category for artists under 18 for the October 7th Star-Studded Awards Show, where 100% of the proceeds go towards supporting local music education in the Temecula Valley. Details, tvmawards.org.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 5 of Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni, and we're brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music, talking to Jay King. And Jay, you know what I've neglected to do here in these little snippets that we've got coming up at the top of the hours? That's all your music, man. Let's talk about for a second quickly on the song that just came up on this segment. What's the genesis of that tune, and is that something that's out right now? Can we go pick that up somewhere?
Yeah, that's the Helen's Son album. That's what you're playing. You're playing songs from Helen's Son. Beautiful. It's Jay King, my name, Jayking. Helen is my mother, and I'm her son, so it's Helen's Son. And it is the newest release that I have. It hasn't been released fully in the United States until August, September, but it's on iTunes right now as a digital download. Man.
Let me ask you this question, brother. We talked about it on the break here, and I wanted to get to the young'uns out there. The things that you and I did, I mean, working at all hours of the night and stuff, coming home, going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning and sleeping till 2 o'clock in the next morning or the afternoon, that whole day is gone. I don't know about you, but I can go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up at 7 or 8 myself just because we don't need as much sleep as we had before. But with that said, being a front man itself, I mean, I'm looking at pictures of you, man, and I see this out of respect. You've kept yourself in shape, man. You look good. You look young. And that's the whole thing itself. But let me ask this question. Now you're back and you're still killing it out there. What are you doing now for your voice to keep it on point again? And what are you eating as opposed to what you did before? And share with us itself what you're not doing today that you did in abundance yesterday.
Well, first of all, I've never been a drug user, never been a drinker, never been a smoker, never been a partier. So I was never part of that whole thing. So, obviously that helps.
Okay.
I was a novice as a singer. I wasn't really a singer. I didn't know how to sing. I didn't understand singing. As a matter of fact, when I turned 30, I thought I was too old to sing because you shouldn't be that old doing this. Yeah, because I think I was just goofy because I told you I'm not built like that, right? But, and it took me about 10 years to get over the fact that this is what I do for a living. And this is, part of it is performing. So, you can't, I used to drink sodas. I don't drink sodas. Haven't drank sodas in years. Just eating anything, hamburgers and stuff like that, I don't. I try to eat a lot of baked foods more than fried foods. I eat a lot of salads. I work out every morning. So I get up 5 o'clock in the morning. I work out at 6 for an hour, doing pull-ups and different things. I still kick the bag from time to time. And I just try to keep myself in good physical shape in case I have to sock somebody. Because when you get on that stage, you got to be able to perform. And people don't want to hear you say what had happened was. And if you look at Valerie and Samuel, you see the same thing. Valerie has 4 kids. Valerie weighs 105 pounds.
You know, Valerie is in phenomenal shape. You know, she thinks she's got a small waist, and she keeps herself. You know, she's fit and trim and solid. Samuel is Samuel's 6 foot tall, 6'1", and he's 180 pounds. You know, and just solid. Very physically fit, and I think that and we all sound better than we did then because we all learned how to sing as a time. Of the three of us, Val was probably the most professional and proficient as a vocalist. So she's great. You know, she's just very well in tuned, and we blend well together. We sound good together, and we put on a great show. You know, we'll be in Utah, like I said, this Saturday. You know, on the 12th, we'll be in Vallejo. August 12th, August 15th, we'll be in Des Moines, Iowa. August 12th, we're in Vallejo. 15th, Des Moines. 19th, we're in to Seattle, Washington, and September 3rd, we're in Nashville, Tennessee, and then we'll be in Las Vegas, I think, October 21st. We got other dates I can't remember, but we're working. You know, we work.
We'll definitely share your URLs on the last segment here. And I want to ask a question out of respect, if you're with a lady right now, as I'm going on 34 years of marriage, thank God, to my beautiful wife. How she puts up with me, I'll never understand that. But with that said, you know, now that we are getting a little long in the tooth, but as I said before, out of all due respect, you're a good-looking brother, and that's an understatement. But, you know, obviously, and we were in this business, obviously, because we understand what it was to pull a girl. And I'm assuming the fact when you were in your heyday, for the lack of a better word, women were there in a plentiful supply. But I'm going to ask you a question now that we are older, over the age of 50, and all the groups that are coming down, we're now getting second and third generation in the audience. The people that we grew up with, their children and their children's children right now. You know, and I had my, time with 98 Degrees and so on, and where we had to be explained by the management the fact that we are all adult male, but we make sure if you're going to hook up with anybody to get the driver's license, to make sure they were over the age of 18. So with that said, I have to ask you this question. When Jay is out performing, and going back to what I said about a good-looking brother, are you finding it as easy or to quote-unquote pull a number, or how to differentiate the fact that you have young listeners out there that could be as old as your own child? How do you stay with it? How do you deal with that? Or is the music more important to you? Or are you just straight out a guy?
Well, first of all, I never, it wasn't my style. It was never my style, even in my heyday.
Okay.
You got to remember, I did a lot of the music. I did a lot of the business for us. So sometimes there would be hundreds of thousands of dollars in my room. And I couldn't afford to have anybody in my room.
Okay.
Today, I don't want nobody in my room.
Cool.
I like the peace of myself. And I'm 55 years old, so I know what a woman look like.
You dig?
I don't know if a woman under 40 is even in my scope because I'm 55, and so I deal with the fact, and I'm a vibrant 55-year-old. I'm young. I'm vibrant, I've never drank before. I don't do drugs. I'm not overweight. I weigh this morning 172 pounds. I'm trying to get down to 165, but I'm 172. I'm 5'7". I'm in good physical shape.
Are you only 5'7", man? Because you photograph over 6 foot tall, brother.
I'm 5'7". I just, but it's because I'm still got I got a thin build. I'm not big, you know what I mean? I'm not, but I'm 5'7", I feel like I'm 10 feet tall. I think people see me and think I'm tall. And
I'm going to share with you as we get older, because you're talking to your brother Jackie right now. I have lost over 200 pounds in the last 8 years. I'm going to text you a photograph of how I used to be as a big brother. And now that over 200 pounds of a weight loss, how I look, I'm a normal size situation. And the fact is, the old adage out there, a lot of my friends, a lot of our African-American brothers and sisters, the old situation is black don't crack. Well, my wife came up with a situation because we're Italian. We don't have any wrinkles on our face. My wife says black don't crack and grease don't crease. But, it's all, it's also the fact of just being out there. And, it doesn't matter with age. Age is just a measure of time, man. So if we sat there doing what we were going to do, then I guess our music would be reflective of, not being progressive, because the songs that we came off of Helen's Son's album, this music is more relevant, man. It is what needs to be on the radio 24/7. And the fact of the matter is, people want to know out there, because of all the songs that you guys made hits, Jealousy, Why You Treat Me So Bad, Lean on Me, etc. Was there a song on your set list, Jay, in these big shows that you were doing coming up, that if you never played the song again, that you were okay with that, or did you enjoy playing every song?
No, certain songs, like even today, I hate doing Heavy on My Mind. It
Tell
just
us why.
drags for me. It just drags. It just drags. I think we all do. Me, Valerie, and Samuel, we have to play it because the people want to hear it. But if there's one song that I think we hate across the board, is Heavy on My Mind all the time. So heavy on my mind all the time. It's a cool record. I hate it. I hate performing it. It don't have no life to me. It just drags for me. So that would be that song.
But it's definitely a request from the audience. Will they yell that tune out?
Yes, they want the record. You got to play it.
Where in the set list is Lean on Me? Is that an encore song?
No, Lean on Me is that's it. We do Lean on Me, and then if we come back, we'll come back to an encore song from the new album. We have a new Club Nouveau album called Consciousness. We have a song on there called Come Together, and I Want to Change the World.
Is that out now?
Yeah, it's out right now. And if you Club Nouveau, Nouveau spelled Nouveau. So if you go to iTunes or YouTube and you want to check out the album, it's Club Nouveau Consciousness. And I think it's some of the best music we've made.
Let me ask you another question, that I think is something that my wife came up with, and I love this tune. And everybody I've asked this question to takes a 2-beat. And I'm going to ask you this question. If Jay King wasn't making music in your life, what would Jay be doing?
I'm a revolutionary. Even now, I'm community building. I think, standing up for humanity. We have to become more humane as a race of people, just as a community of people. And it's what I do here in Sacramento. My house is in L.A. I very seldom live in my house. I've only been in my house 5 days this year. Last year, I think I did a total of 9 days in my house. And because I'm from Sacramento, I grew up in the community here in Del Paso Heights. And we have a serious epidemic here when it comes to poverty and economic sovereignty. So I'm on the radio here at 97.5. I volunteer Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays so I can play local artists on the radio. But I can discuss issues. I work with Alan Warren, who's our city councilman. I grew up with him. He's a few years younger than me, but he made such a difference. He's a big land developer in the city, made a lot of money, but he stopped his business to come back into the neighborhood to help the neighborhood. I helped him in his campaign about 6 years ago. And one day he said, Jay, you drive by, you come in, and you say you help us, but we need you in the community, and our community is changing. So I will do community work.
Again, staying relevant and staying, one step above and everything else. But again, music is in our DNA. It's never going to go away, God forbid. But my question also, too, because I'm intrigued by the fact granted the fact I've been played on numerous hits, and I still hear them to this day. But I have to ask a question I asked to all the notables out there, and I want you to think for a second. Put your thinking cap on for a second, Jay. I want you to think about what song it was, where you were at, and what you were feeling the first time you heard yourself on the radio.
Now, this is another interesting question, because unlike most artists where they got a chance to really involve themselves with the excitement of it, I didn't, because mine was a fight. So hearing my record shelf on the radio wasn't a fun day for me, because I fought. I was fighting a system. I was independent. Major labels was trying to kill my record. Major labels did not want my record to happen. So most of my days were fighting to keep my record alive, for major labels to give me a shot at having a successful record the same way they did. And so it wasn't pleasant times for me. And when I finally heard myself on the radio, I didn't get a chance to be elated and go, oh my God, my record's on the radio. it was like, it's about fucking time.
Yeah.
You know, I finally won. Shit.
You know, again, I asked you a question itself. I don't think I got an honest answer because I have a message here. When I said about the fact about being a YouTube star earlier, about sitting in front of a monitor and singing a song, either be a cover tune or your own song, do you or did you agree, or maybe I missed the answer, but do you agree that you've got to get your ass kicked out there to stay relevant in this industry?
Well, I did answer. I said, listen, if you're on YouTube and you're being a YouTube star, you're getting your ass kicked on YouTube. Every comment to you ain't a nice one. Everybody watching you ain't saying you're the greatest. So, no, I don't think I think it's according to what it is. If you want to be a YouTube star, all you got to do is what the platform allows for you to do, because that's where the judgment is. Okay. But when you start trying to step out and it's according to how far you step out of that platform. You know, how far on the plank are you going to go? Because the more you step out, because now you go from being a YouTube star maybe to being a recording star.
Right.
Well, now you got to be a recording star, and then you're going to be a performing star. Look at Mariah. Mariah's getting her ass kicked because she sucks as a live performer, and people are saying it. And so, but Mariah always sucked as a live performer. She was a studio. She was a recording artist. She wasn't a performing artist. Now Patti LaBelle gonna whoop your ass on the stage because she's a bad motherfucker when it comes to getting on stage and doing something. Whitney Houston wasn't no great. As a matter of fact, Club Nouveau was supposed to do 12 dates with Whitney Houston when we first started. We did one date in Indianapolis, Indiana, and they kicked us off the tour because a reviewer wrote, Whitney Houston needs to take lessons from Valerie Watson on how to move a crowd. Because they called Valerie the Tinkerbell of Funk. So, Whitney Houston wasn't no hell of a performer. She got a little better as she got older. So, some people are recording artists, some people are performing artists, and the ass kicking you're going to take, you're going to take it regardless in any business that you excel in. It's just the way it is. That's how life is. Nobody makes it, with a cakewalk. It's a tough business. Life is tough. And it's like that, and that's the way it is.
And I thank you for that answer. Let me ask this question. Step back from being, a pro in the business. Is there somebody right now you want to share with us, male or female or group-wise, that kicks your ass live on stage to this very day? In fact, do me a favor, don't answer that because it's going to. I want to share some of that with you as we're coming out of this last segment number 5 and the last segment number 6. Again, brother, there's so much more, and I definitely want to extend the olive branch to you because we've got so much more to talk on that we can't cover in 2 hours. So we'll talk offline about hopefully welcoming you back, and again, how we can intertwine the knowledge of Jay King into the business of the young emerging artists. With that said, again, hopefully you'll take that invitation. So, you guys, this is Jackie Bertoni. This is Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. I'm talking to Jay King, and I'm smiling ear to ear. Got a lot of talking to do together, brother. So when we're coming out of segment number 5 into the final segment of a 2-hour interview on segment number 6, we're going to talk everything about Jay King, where to find him, where to stalk him, where to add to his lifestyle, and that's called patronizing the man. So we'll talk about that on the last segment coming up. So again, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the short message. There's that bumper music, and when we get back, we're going to pick up the last segment. Don't go anywhere. Short break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 6, final segment of a 2-hour interview, and an educating interview with my in-studio guest, Mr. Jay King. And before I go any further, I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors that keep this crazy ship afloat. And let's start out with all of our friends at Pitbull Audio, Calvin Lee and the Motley Crew there, where they just want you to play it loud. And you can reach them at pitbullaudio.com. Someone I'm sure Jay is familiar with, I know I am, a company called SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals. SIR-USA.com for all of your backline needs and all of your rehearsal studio needs. And I want to say hi to my one of our biggest sponsors also. That would be Drum Workshop, DW Incorporated, drumworkshop.com, and to all the people there that support us. And my stick of choice, my drumstick of choice, Vater Percussion, VATER.com, for 23 years. And people I'm most biased to, my percussion company, going on 28 years. They believed in my career and to continue to believe in my career, and that is called LPmusic.com, the world's largest. And they say it's what the best players play. So with that said, Jay, we always say it takes a village. You can't do everything on your own. You need the help out there. You need a good team around you. And I couldn't be more privileged by the team called Intertalk Radio. And that would be from Cedric and to Megan and to Paul, the COO, Paul Beresetsky, and also to Alex Chesney, our accountant. And the gentleman I want to bring on right now, your fellow friend, my brother from the other mother, quintessential Filipino that carries the stigma of the CEO of Intertalk Radio. So with that said, do me a favor, Jay, say hi to Florentino. And Florentino, please say hi to your brother, Jay.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, Flor, how you doing, man?
Bro, I'm enjoying this interview. You guys it's like you guys been best buds since, I don't know, since the 80s when we all got started in this business. So it's really a good interview. And more importantly, I think Jackie and you have shed some really strong light on what's going on in this music business and how these, these emerging bands, these young upstarts are going to be able to carry on, the torch and the traditions, and still, even for the guys who've been doing it for a long time, to stay and remain relevant and come out with awesome tracks like you've been doing, man. I've been following you, brother, and you were one of the first folks on the Changing Stage radio show to come on board and share your wealth of knowledge, and it's just been it's been tremendous ever since. And I'm really happy, and as a Sacramento boy, I'm really hugely proud of you, brother. You're a blessing to all of us.
Yes.
So, with that said, man, we like to promote, bro. We really love to have your URLs, how people. I know you've been talking about like going to iTunes, but let's kind of restate it again for people who might be just joining right now. How can people stalk Jay King, for lack of a better word?
Well, I'm on Twitter at the Club Nouveau, and Nouveau is spelled Nouveau, the Club Nouveau. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/JAYKING music. I'm also J King KD Traffic Jams on with Traffic Jams on Facebook, and the Club Nouveau on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook/the Club Nouveau. And if you want to send me an email, it's theclubnouveau@gmail.com. And Nouveau is spelled Nouveau.
And that's what I love about you, man, because you've always been accessible. You've had tremendous success, but you understand where you came from and the roots, and you were working with a lot of folks, and you helped them to rise in the business. In fact, we got one of the guys you mentored, Brian, is going to be coming on next week on Jackie's show. So Brian Alexander Morgan, who started off doing work with you in LaRue, went on to SWV and Week and all the stuff that SWV had, and most recently Aloe Black and Drake he's been working with. So
yeah,
he's a tremendous talent, and you gave him his start, man. So we all owe you a debt of gratitude, brother. So much appreciation.
I really, all I did was give Brian the opportunity to be Brian Morgan. Brian was always just a great talent. From the time I met him, he was just extraordinarily talented, and I love what he did. He was signed to Warner Brothers with me with a group called Cachet d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
But they got caught up. They got caught up in my politics. Warner Brothers really punished me by punishing the groups that were with me.
Yeah. I mean, and you know that me and Victor were business partners for a long time with Teresa, and that was your second project. So we've known each other for quite some time, bro. It definitely, politics in this business can be crazy, but I think a lot of people are realizing that you got to treat people right, and because people like you definitely you keep on driving, because that passion that you speak so eloquently about is a huge part of your success.
Yes.
And, Jay,
you're going to be successful in this business. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to jump in real quick too. It's like, people want to know. I'm getting some text itself. Is Tino okay? Let me tell you, Tino was going to be at home, but he wanted to come in and say hi to you, man. Tino is under the weather. He just spent last week in Nashville for Nashville NAMM. So, brother, I thank you so much. You sound like shit right now, brother, but I love you.
I'm battling, man. I'm battling, but I couldn't miss this day with Jay, man. I couldn't miss this day with Jay. It's family, bro. It's family, so it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. Back to you. All right, brother, go get your rest. I'm going to chop it up in the last 10 minutes here with Mr. King, and we're going to move it forward here. Did I lose everybody? I'm still here.
No, I'm right here.
Okay, cool, man. Hey, so Tino, thanks, brother. Jay, let me ask you this question, man. You brought up something a little while ago, talking about Sly and the Family Stone and so on. Just listening to that 80s, 90s sound, like what you did on Lean on Me and so on, I can just hear you guys fucking it up on I just want to thank you for letting me. I would love to hear your... Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can hear Bobby G funking it up on guitar. I can hear Florentino hitting the bass. I can hear Larry Graham and so on.
Well, on my record, The One, that's Bobby G on guitar. On bass is Derek Allen. Yeah. On saxophone is Eddie M. So, a lot of different guys played on the record.
I had Eddie on. We had a great, great, great interview along with Peter Michael. We've got Sheila E., fingers crossed, coming up soon. We've been wanting to get Bobby on, but Bobby, like Florentino knows Bobby. He's like a wasp in a swarm, man. You can never lock him down for more than 2 seconds because he's got some incredible stories coming up, man, and so on. But I want to ask you with requests to groups that you love and so on, and the groups that I've played with and I've been through the mill with. We talked about Lenny Williams, definitely the innovator from Tower of Power. Only shared a couple years, 3 years with the boys, but made a serious impact with them. Have you had the opportunity, especially in your area, have you seen Tower of Power live lately and see what these older gentlemen are, how they're fucking it up still? Have you had the opportunity?
Haven't had a chance to see them, but I know that they were going to do something. They were trying to do something with Lenny because Lenny called me to ask me about how he should go about, structuring it. But I haven't. But I heard they still put on a great show. But the deal is this: the magic is going to be when Lenny Williams is there.
You dig? But let me just tell you something, man. I want you to get a chance. I want you to write this name down. The young brother that's singing now live with Tower, his name is Marcus Scott. Marcus is coming on the show. Now, if you ask Lenny, if you ask Larry Braggs, if you ask Ray Green, if you ask any of the former singers from Tower of Power who this kid is, this is a boy that comes out of Memphis from the Memphis churches. He's 30 years old, man. He's the youngest cat singing and fronting Tower of Power. Yeah, granted, the fact when Tower of Power was, 35, 40 years ago, they were all young cats. But he is this new innovative guy that sounds like Lenny, sounds like Larry, sounds like all the bad boys. So, I'll send you a couple links with that also. And if Tower makes their way through your general area, let me know personally, and I'll make sure I get you, the VIP and the hookup with the boys, because if it wasn't for Emilio Castillo, the founder of that band, Jackie would not be doing what he's done today in his musical career. So, I definitely want to help you out with that situation. And also, too, other things that are coming up on your situations between management, through Club Nouveau, through your own album, again, with Helen's son, excuse me.
Helen's son.
Yeah, man. When you start doing some live work, will you be spotlighting a lot of that new music?
Absolutely. That's what when I do solo stuff. That's all I do is that stuff. September 15th, September 15th, I'll be in Sacramento. I'm doing a fundraiser for Grant High School Scholarship Fund for the scholarship high school students. A lot of students of color, they go off to college and they don't have the money to see them through when they during school breaks, and we want to make sure that we take care of them, that we make sure that those kids don't come home, because what we're finding out is once they come home, they don't go back out. They don't get back to college again, and so we're doing a scholarship fundraiser for them. Cal Bennett is going to play sax with me. Ivan Johnson is my music director. I got some great musicians. The Club Nouveau band basically is going to play with me.
Very, very cool. Because in this situation right now in this industry, we unfortunately, I always make a joke out of this, but we're making assignment right now in local clubs about the same amount of money we made back 30 years ago. And, I don't know how it is in Sacramento, but we've lost so many great venues out here in Southern California. They've all fallen by the wayside, in the way of jazz and so on and so forth. I want to, really instill the fact that through our government, without becoming political, we've got to keep music in the schools, guys. We've got to find that funding itself. We've got to keep kids enthralled with music. And also, I always tell everybody else, too, we got to support local music. And we've got to put everything else, our best foot forward. And when there's people like you and me and the like that we spoke about, we've got to put our best foot forward. We've got to be mentors to these young kids out there. And again, help them along, because I can only speak for myself. I had my whole life of people paying it forward for me. And I only feel, motivated to do the same thing back with that. And, it's everything old is new again is exactly why all the old groups are still selling out stadiums itself. Now, coming up in concert-wise itself, what you want to share with the listeners out there what you've got coming up? What shows you want to go see live that's on your radar?
That I just saw Earth, Wind and Fire and Chic, and it was the best show I've seen in years. When I saw Chic, I thought, because me and Ralph Johnson, we write together from Earth, Wind and Fire. As a matter of fact, Ralph, my song Running, I did with Ralph Johnson. And Ralph always give me tickets and passes whenever, Earth, Wind and Fire is playing. So I've seen them a few times. They've been okay. And when I saw Chic, I said, oh, man, Earth, Wind and Fire are going to have a tough time tonight, because Chic turned it out. Right. But, man, Earth, Wind and Fire came out there. It's like Chic lit a fire under them and made them have to play, and they were incredible. They put on a great show. It was a great concert, just back and forth, front to back. It was incredible. If I could see anybody now, and I would love to see this Brazilian artist, Jovan, Djavan. I would love to see Babel Gilberto, who is also a Brazilian artist. I would love to see if I could see her.
Yeah, man. Another thing I suggest also, because you just mentioned Earth, Wind, and Fire, my dear friends, Morris and John Parrish. You know, John. They're killing it up there. And I'm a little bit on the fence with Earth, Wind, and Fire currently. Earth, Wind, and Fire, in my opinion, today they're still killing it, but it's not the Earth, Wind, and Fire of the Al McKay days, in my humble opinion.
No, you're right, but that's because listen, Larry Dunn, who I represented Larry Dunn for a lot of years and still consult him. See, Larry would have been great for Earth, Wind, and Fire, but Larry don't like Pro Tools. Larry wants to. When you see the Larry Dunn do the Earth, Wind, and Fire music, they sound closer to Earth, Wind, and Fire than Earth, Wind, and Fire. And John Parrish will tell you that because of his integrity to the music. And I think if Earth, Wind, and Fire, and a lot of bands like Club Nouveau, we don't run Pro Tools at all. Our band plays live because we come from a live era of music. And I think when we start trying to do what these kids do, we lose the integrity of the music. We have to do music the way music was given to us for it to live like that, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, and again, too, when I say that to the public out there, you can go onto YouTube and just type in Al McKay on his current tour. He's killing it, man. I mean, it's just amazing out there. And also, too, I suggest wholeheartedly, if you get a chance, and if you want to see him, let me know. My boys, Chicago, who's celebrating 50 years, they're still killing it on stage, and they're teaching the old cats what it's like. Because when you're on these big gigs, Jay, it's amazing. As I said before, you've got our ages, you've got our children's ages, and you've got their kids now that are being exposed to great music. Music, if you don't have music in your life, brother, you don't have anything. It's every day I wake up to music. Every night I go to bed, I go to music. Music takes me away. The music, and talking to Jay King right now, I mean, your music was definitely part of my soundscape to my musical life. When I hang up the phone now, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to ask Jay to send me a copy of a CD. I'm going on to iTunes and I'm buying Helen's Son. And friends of mine in the industry go, "Why are you buying our albums, man? Call up and I'll send you a stack of them." No, I'm going to go buy it.
Right.
And you know what I'm going to do when I buy this album? I'm going to send you the receipt and show you proof fact. That I
write a
money.
Review. Right. Listen to it and write a review for me. That's what I want you to do.
Without question, brother boy. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. I hope you've had a great time today. I know my listeners have had a great time.
Right.
And brother, as soon as we get off the air, probably towards the end of the day, once Cedric gets me the link to our interview, I'm going to send it to you, and I would appreciate very, very much if you would go ahead and put it on your own website and post it.
I definitely will.
Because the audience, your friends that haven't heard it are going to love to hear it. So with that said, guys, I want everybody to applaud. If you're driving, keep your hands on the wheel and thank Mr. Jay King for gracing my show, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. This is it's a pleasure, my brother. Thank you so much. I hope to do some more work with you along with Florentino when he gets off of his sick bed and to see how you can implement your knowledge to the young cats growing up. So with that said, guys, welcome and thank Mr. Jay King. Jay, love you, brother. We'll be talking offline.
Love you back.
And as I say to everybody out there, peace through music. God bless, brother. Godspeed. Best of health.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.